Hello, everybody. Freelance teacher at thefreelanceteacher.com. I'm coming at you again from the soundproof studios in which I inhabit, letting you know information that maybe you don't get at school, maybe you don't get from society or the world at large or mainstream media, things that maybe you could think about on your own if you could just focus without all the foolishness and craziness that's going on, particularly in the United States. That's really right in my wheelhouse, right in the Northeast New York City tri-state area. But something came up the other day that I think you should realize, in the sense of, as a young person, and again, I work primarily with high school students, although I have clients outside of my high school that are at the university level. And I also at times talk with adults, although I have a standing policy. Anybody over the age of 25, I'll state my point, but I don't try to teach anybody over the age of 25, particularly in the political or economic arena, because they already know everything. They know everything about history. They know everything about economics. They know everything about pretty much everything else. And trying to show, even with evidence, you could have a study on something with impeccable credentials and all of the safety valves built in. If that study goes against someone over the ages of 25, against their beliefs, against their worldview, it really doesn't matter what the study is or what it says or the results of the study. It could be the most amazing, intellectual, flawlessly done, study statistics on a topic, and nah, you're not going to get anywhere. So anyway, my usual clientele, high school, college students, I have to bring this up because it's mind-boggling. I know somebody who got a ticket in the summer of 1990, right? I think it was June of 1990. I think it was a speeding ticket and something else in the same place at the same time. Person paid, ticket paid, done, right? It's now 2017, 27 years later. He went to renew his license, really basically get an address change. And the DMV said, no, you can't. You have outstanding warrants. You have an outstanding violation in Delaware that needs to get taken care of. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Well, turns out the courthouse in Delaware in 1990 saw that the ticket had been paid, but the DMV in Delaware didn't. Now, the person I'm talking about lives in Virginia. So you may be asking yourself, well, wait a minute. First of all, what does Delaware and their ticket stuff and outstanding tickets in Delaware, what does that have to do with Virginia? Well, guess what? And here's the punchline. There now has been instituted at varying speeds in various states a national database of driver malfeasance, of driver tickets, speeding tickets, moving violations, your driving record, your history. Now all the states, right, they can cross-pollinate, at least Delaware and Virginia can. Soon probably all of them will. I don't know who has jumped into the national database game. But there's going to be a national database so that you can't get away with, God forbid you didn't pay. It was a $50 ticket back in June of 1990. Right, I'm 45, gray hair, worn out, right, I'm tired. In June of 1990, I had just finished high school. I was 18. Right, which you can insert your own punchline for that one, right? How many pounds ago that was, right? A good 40 pounds ago. Lots of energy, all kinds of nonsense going on back then, right? 18 years old, 1990. Well, now that you're, let's say maybe you did something where you may not even have gotten away with it, right? You may have had a violation that part of the bureaucracy in another state didn't quite process correctly. You can't do what you want with your license. Think about it. Virginia resident, 2017, speeding ticket in Delaware in 1990, and was not a Delaware resident then either. Right? Guy I'm talking about was in the service, was a U.S. Marine, was back home in the States, and got a ticket, paid the ticket. Fast forward 27 years, went to renew the license basically to get an address change, and blocked. Not because the ticket wasn't paid, because the national database had a bureaucratic error that said the DMV in Delaware says this was not paid, yet the court in Delaware knew that it was. So now the Delaware court lady was on the phone, flabbergasted that she now had to inform her own state's DMV that the ticket was paid and there's nothing to see here. Right? But think about that. Think about that. What's going on with all of those kinds of things? You want to do what you want to do, and you can't. Why? Because the web, the lattice work of national bureaucracy is going to stop you from doing what you want to do. Whether you're right or wrong doesn't matter. Remember, person paid the ticket, and now there's a national database. And every step of the way, someone either in your face or electronically is going to say, let me see your papers. And not only that, your papers better be clean. You have anything going on your paperwork or your electronic paperwork, you stop right there. You have to take care of this kind of stuff first. And it's going to be one of those things. This is my prediction. I'm going to end with this. It's going to be, I don't know, 10 years from now, maybe 5, where this kind of bureaucratic government bloat, New World Order, control the masses type stuff, everything at a national level, right? We need national education, Common Core, No Child Left Behind. We need national health care, nationalized health care, single payer. We need national everything, national database. It's going to be one of those things where people are going to kind of maybe look up from the feeding trough in 2027 or 2022. And they're going to be like, what happened? Why is every step of the way do I catch flack? Why is every step of the way do I take a loss? And think about the people in the country that don't have a lot of money or are middle class and can't afford to fight through the bureaucracy by throwing money at it or gigantic campaign contributions. What do you think is going to happen then? You hear a lot in school about people being victimized by the system, or you hear about the patriarchy or the systemic racism. What's another favorite? Oh, the latest term that's even superseded racism or systemic racism is white supremacy. The same people saying this stuff, white supremacy, systemic racism, the patriarchy, those people by and large say we need the government to fix it, right? That's the answer. These are classically, generally this day and age, white liberals or democratic liberal types, usually white, but not exclusively, say, well, the answer is big government. Those people in government will make these problems get better. You don't hear them saying ever at a granular society level where people who are free and able to function, those people can handle it. It's not going to be perfect, but with freedom and free markets, you'll get this kind of stuff taken out of the system. You'll get better performance. They don't say that. If someone does, let me know, because I don't hear it. I don't hear anyone saying, except for libertarians and some conservative types, very few, saying freedom is really the answer. It's not the perfect answer. It's all a system of trade-offs, right? Everything's a trade-off. Well, now the trade-off is going to be a massive federal bureaucracy that through the DMV and driver's licensing and things like that, they're going to manage in effect, your movement, your ability to get anything. What can you do these days without your driver's license? Can't rent a car, naturally, of course. Can't get a mortgage. Go get a mortgage without a driver's license. I guess you could use an ID, but someone's going to wonder, how come you don't drive? How come you don't have a driver's license? All right, you can get an ID from the DMV. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a problem with some of this stuff. And people are going to wonder, they're going to wake up and see, some people just never wake up, you don't bother. But they're going to lift up their head from the feeding trough, right? They're going to look up from their sports, their basketball and the World Series and all this other stuff. I love sports, don't get me wrong, but it's going to wake up and be like, hey, wait a minute. I haven't done anything wrong, but the national database is telling me that I can't rent a car, buy a house, get a new driver's license, whatever, because of the federal government telling you that you can't, whether it's justified or not. I don't know what to tell you. It's 2017. The got a ticket in 1990 story is true, right? That's my older brother. He was a Marine, and he had issues. Now, he solved them with lots of phone calls and lots of time, and it's the beginning of this whole process. But this is the message I'm telling you, young people. Be careful, be thoughtful when someone comes up with the answer is, let's have a government bureau handle it. Be careful when they say that. Everything is a trade-off. If you have that, you're going to get, at best, the situation I'm talking to you about now today. At best. At worst, people will use it. The people who talk about oppression all the time. There are going to be people who will continue to oppress people that they can push around, whoever it is, of whatever ethnicity or dollar level. Although, let's face it, if you're wealthy, these things don't worry you that much. But if you're young and you don't have a lot of clout, you don't have a lot of cash, you don't have a lot of anything, and you want to start a business, or you want to sign a lease, or you want to get a new driver's license, or you've changed your address, well, okay. But now that you've got government bureaucrats unaccountable to anybody, they're not elected, and you've got politicians who most people see them as gods. They look to them to answer everything. How are we going to fix schools? How are we going to fix the roads? How are we going to fix driving? How are we going to fix everything? Well, we need to create a government bureau. We need some more laws. And, without getting too preachy, that's how it's going to go. You're going to have this kind of thing unless something goes on. I don't see it, really. I don't see anything change, right? I've gone through Bush, Obama, now Trump. I don't see massive changes. But national database, I guess you got to pay your tickets, pay the piper, right? You want to dance, you got to pay the piper. Now the piper is a $12 trillion behemoth. And no one ever criticizes this behemoth. They don't say, no, maybe we should stop. So keep your eyes open, think for yourself, take risks, try to be your own boss, find people who think for themselves even if you don't agree with them and listen to them, and then you process their opinions on your own. Don't follow mine. Don't follow the person next to you. Don't follow Donald Trump or Barack Obama or any of these people or your principal. You get opinions from people who you think are independently minded, and you come up with your own, right? You build knowledge and come up with your own knowledge base. Because remember, as Tom Sowell said at the first sentence of his book, Knowledge and Decisions, the first sentence says, ideas are everywhere, but knowledge is rare. He's right. That's the first sentence of the book, and the rest of the thing explains it to a T. Take care. Hope the message resonates. TheFreelanceTeacher.com and TFTTravelGroup.com. Take care, folks. Have a good one.